What if I told you it just got dramatically cheaper to give up your United States citizenship, not move, not relocate, walk away completely, and thousands of Americans are already doing it. Just wait till you hear how many.
Let's talk about renouncing your U.S. citizenship. There is an increase in applications to renounce U.S. citizenship since January of 2025.
So here's the real question. Why would anyone give up one of the most powerful passports in the world?
1. Taxes.
And why is the government suddenly making it easier?
The Supreme Court's not been acting very well, actually.
We're going to get to the bottom of it all in this episode of Window Seat. This is one of those stories that sounds small on the surface, but the deeper you go, the bigger it gets.
Now, giving up U.S. citizenship is accomplished through a process called renunciation.
Because this isn't just about paperwork, it's about taxes, identity, global mobility.
Travel experts say that a worldwide alert for Americans, activated just weeks before spring break, is creating extra stress for families with vacation plans.
And a growing number of Americans quietly deciding they're done.
When it comes to the American dream, I feel that I lived it, and it's literally the reason that I left.
Whether it's because of the economy,
Financial belts are really starting to tighten up.
prices,
American drivers woke up this morning and learned that, according to AAA, for the first time in a while, gas prices are more than $4 a gallon.
politics,
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big
Oh,
guy.
stop it.
Is that your solution, everybody?
No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
or the great divide that seems to be growing between Americans.
Now politics in Washington, it's been this way for a long time, is a zero-sum game where you can't win something unless somebody else loses.
Seems a lot of people in this country want to try life somewhere else.
If you take the J's out, just ignore the J's and it's Ljubljana.
We've run into Americans living abroad all over the world.
I actually ended up moving here after being with my now husband for a while in the States. He's Slovenian American and he grew up there. We met there.
From Hannah here, she's a world-renowned singer from Colorado, now living in Slovenia.
After we had our daughter, we decided that we wanted to live kind of like a European lifestyle.
To Carrie,
And still had the itch to move abroad.
a teacher who moved to Korea to teach English to school kids.
So I actually have 4 or 5 Coloradan friends here in South Korea.
But they were still U.S. citizens. This is different. We're talking about people renouncing their citizenship. And it may surprise you that the Trump administration just announced a major change. They're going to make it financially easier for you to leave.
For some people, a new American dream is emerging. To no longer live in America. Americans are leaving in record numbers, replanting themselves and their families in countries they find more affordable and safe.
The cost to renounce U.S. citizenship is being slashed, not by a little, by a lot. For years, if you wanted to give up your U.S. citizenship, you had to pay $2,350. That made it one of the most expensive citizenship renunciation fees in the world. Now, that cost is dropping to just $450. That's an 80% reduction, and it takes effect April 13th, 2026. So yes, it just got a whole lot easier to leave. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't some fringe trend. In 2024 alone, nearly 5,000 Americans renounced their citizenship. And right now there's a backlog of more than 30,000 people waiting to do it. So what's going on? The biggest reason comes down to something most Americans don't even think about, and that's taxes.
It's one of the few places where its citizens are obligated to pay taxes no matter what, no matter when, no matter where. So what that means is that as a U.S. citizen, you could leave the United States and you could live, let's say Bali. You could live in Bali 100 years and never go back to the United States, right? And you will be taxed on your income in Bali as if you were living in the United States.
You could be living in Paris, Tokyo, or Dubai, and you still have to file U.S. taxes every single year, even if you haven't lived in America for decades. For some people, especially those known as accidental Americans, people who were born in the U.S. but grew up somewhere else, that becomes a huge burden. Banking complications, double taxation risks, complex filings, and for them, renouncing citizenship starts to feel less extreme and more practical. Now, before you start thinking this is some easy exit, it's not. Renouncing your citizenship is a serious, multi-step process.
To qualify, you must be a U.S. citizen and have proof of your citizenship, such as a birth certificate, passport, etc. You must then request a renunciation appointment at a U.S. embassy or consulate abroad.
You go through multiple interviews, you sign documents confirming you understand what you're doing, and then you take an oath. After that, it's final. No undo button. And in some cases, there can be exit taxes depending on your assets.
When you renounce your U.S. citizenship, you'll no longer be allowed to vote in U.S. elections. You'll be treated just like every other foreign national seeking entry to the U.S. in the future, even though you were once a citizen. This means you'll be required to obtain any necessary immigration documents, such as a visa, ESTA, etc., before entering the country. And many people are still required to either notify the IRS of their renunciation and/or file any outstanding taxes that are still owed. Renunciation is not a mechanism that can be utilized to evade taxes owed to the federal government.
So yes, the fee just dropped, but the stakes are still incredibly high. So why lower the price? Interestingly, this move actually costs the government money. Officials have acknowledged the process requires significant staff time and resources, but the pressure has been building for years. Advocacy groups, especially representing Americans living abroad, have argued that the old $2,300 fee was unfair, even punitive. Some even challenged it in court. And now, the administration is reversing a policy that dates back to 2015, bringing the fee back down to where it was in 2010. So depending on how you look at it, this is either a correction or an invitation. And here's where this story connects to something much bigger. At the same time this fee is dropping, there's a wider national debate happening around citizenship itself.
On his first day back in office last year, President Trump signed an executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship, a cornerstone of immigration policy enshrined in the 14th Amendment to the Constitution and affirmed by the Supreme Court more than 100 years ago.
Who gets it? Who keeps it? And what it really means to be American. We're seeing legal fights over birthright citizenship, conversations about denaturalization, and now, a policy that makes it easier to leave. Taken together, it paints a complicated picture. On one hand, the U.S. passport is still one of the most valuable in the world. On the other, more Americans are questioning whether it's worth the cost, financial, legal, and personal. So let's bring it back to that original question. Why would someone give up their U.S. citizenship? For some, it's about money. For others, it's about simplicity. And for a growing number, it's about control over their own lives abroad. But the bigger story might be this. When it becomes cheaper to leave, it forces you to ask why people are leaving in the first place, and whether that trend is just beginning. If this surprised you, you're not alone. And if you want more stories that sit right at the intersection of policy, travel, and real life, hit subscribe, because the world is changing fast, and sometimes the biggest shifts are hiding in the smallest headlines.
All right, that's it for this episode of Window Seat. What did you think?
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to get your input, keep the conversation going. Let us know what we missed. Again, drop it in the comments below. Also, if you could like and share the video, that would be great. So again, we can keep the conversation going as our travels take us all around the world. So hit subscribe and follow the journey if you can. We're back with a brand new episode of Window Seat next week. In the meantime, check out one of these other videos from Window Seat, and we will tell you goodbye from right here in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Adios.